All right, welcome to Let's Talk Tuesday. It's the week of the third quarter moon, and the third quarter moon this week in the second Cancerian lunar cycle that started July 20th. Like, where has the time gone, right? We're in the third quarter week to wind up this lunar cycle, and it's coming to us in the fixed sign of Taurus, Earth, fixed Earth sign. And so this is when you grab your natal chart and you go and look for your Taurus ruled house, because that's where you will find the Taurus third quarter moon and the energetics that's playing out for you this week. So this is a week of letting go, winding down, slowing down, and completion, right? Completion. And finally, at the end of this lunar week, right before the new moon happens, we want to surrender. Lay down our sword, go back into the deepest core part of ourself, which is that lunar energy of your natal moon sign, and surrender into the void to be reborn in the new moon in Leo on August 18th. All right, so our lovely Jenny here has, she's already found it in her chart. I'm sorry to excited to hear about the second house. Woohoo! I have my sun there at 22 degrees, Mercury at 17 degrees Capricorn. So Jenny's Capricorn, and you have your second house ruled by Capricorn, is that right? Oh, it's a typo. Awesome. So, okay, so second house. So Jenny's already ahead of us now. She's moved into her second house, which is normally ruled by Taurus. So this is where you can really get into the next layer deeper in your chart. I just want to say hi to Guinevere, who is here with us live. Hi, Guinevere, how are you? We're getting into our charts to kind of tune in to what is it that we want to explore for ourselves this week. Hi, Janice. Welcome. She's got her chart. She's got it memorized up there, right? Okay, so we're talking all about things Taurus and the second house. So two areas to look for in your chart. Your Taurus ruled house, that's what the third quarter moon will be, its power this week, as well as go into your second house, which is the natural Taurus ruled house. So good job, Jenny, finding all that. And so let's just reconnect to what is third quarter energetics. Third quarter moon is the last week of the lunar cycle, which is 4 weeks long. We start off with the new moon, where we're just getting reborn, we're set new intentions. The first quarter moon, the following week, is where we get into action and we start breaking through obstacles, right? We've got this building, waxing energy. And then we move into the third week of the lunar cycle, which is the full moon. And that's where we grow into expansion. Hey, Shaman KK is here. Hi, sister, welcome. Aloha, my Lemurian sister. My Cancer soul sister. Right, totally. So we go into the week of the full moon, which we just completed last week. And that's our week of expansion, bringing things into fruition and up from the deep, deep core recesses of ourselves so we can bring it to the light, so we can see our subconscious energy that we can cleanse and purify as well as celebrate. And so now the party's coming to an end. So the full moon happened, and now we're going to the waning cycle. So we start letting go and releasing and coming back to center, going more inward. As in the waxing cycle, we go out to our external self, hit the full moon, and then we turn directions and we come into ourself, our core, where it's quiet and safe, inward, in that feminine space, to reconnect with our inner goddess, to rebirth a new cycle of creation and manifestation. All right, so this is where we are now. This is right here, right now. What time is it now? Where are you? Here. Right? And so we're going to be winding down, slowing down, going inward, letting go, releasing, shedding, and reflecting upon what's been happening in your life since July 20th. And because it was 2 Cancer lunar cycles, I want you to go all the way back to June 20th. So what's been percolating and happening in your life since June 20th? Jenny says, I got Chiron, 9 degrees, retrograde, natal Chiron retrograde in Taurus, in her 6th house. So she's got Capricorn ruling her 2nd house and Taurus ruling her 6th house of health and wellness. So this is a health and wellness week. So this is we'll use Jenny as an example. This is what we learn in the inner circle. Now we've got Kelly, Shaman KK, kellykessler.com. Go visit Shaman KK. She's awesome. She's doing it up for us in this cosmic now 2020, right? She got us all blessed and reconnected to the grandmothers and the lion beings and the 8-8 Lionsgate. So awesome. So Shaman KK is doing a great job out there in the cosmos on planet Earth. So definitely connect with Kelly Kessler for anything shamanic healing. She has a wonderful group on Facebook. Check her out. And Kelly, feel free in the chat if you'd like to leave your link to your group as well as your website. Feel free. She's one of my go-to colleagues, soul sisters, inner circle, and Podman. All right, so this is what we do in the inner circle as we work together as a group, and we dive deep into the layers, the multidimensional layers of our natal chart to first understand it, right? It's a whole new language, astrology. And really, astrology to me is a language of patterns and programs, right? Memories, past lives, potential plans, blueprints for future lives, right? All woven into the time you were born, the place you were born, and the day you were born. All creates this wonderful, multidimensional, energetic frequency that you want to merge and align with and become one with. And then you're on your way, easy, skipping down the yellow brick road to the Emerald City, heart chakra. Want to live in that heart chakra place. And so I'm going to be talking a lot about the heart chakra as we move into next week's new moon, right? Inner circle already knows it's a new moon in Leo. And I was just writing the blog post today, and it was looking really good. So I'm excited to share the inner workings of it with the inner circle. And of course, we'll talk about it next Tuesday to get you all going. So if you feel the call, jump into the inner circle. It's a low monthly paid subscription, and you get 2 weeks free. So you can check it out before you decide, oh, I like it and I want to stay. There's a 2-week free trial. You put your credit card or debit card number in, but it does not get charged for 2 weeks. So you can feel free to cancel it anytime, especially before the 2-week trial is over if you feel like, not really for me, or maybe not at this time, maybe later. So just let you know that that's an option. And you can find out all about that at club.lunarladies.com and then click on Inner Circle when you join us. Okay, woohoo! All right, so let's focus on this week. So this week we're letting go and we're reflecting. We're looking into the pool of the moon to reflect back to us what's been happening in our lives since July 20th with this current lunar cycle, as well as June 20th when we had a first Cancer lunar cycle happen. So we had 2 Cancer cycles of clearing and cleansing, rebirthing, and letting go. Now I know for me, it's been a really powerful Cancerian lunar cycle for many reasons. Just as so I could just share a little bit of an example to kind of see when you're looking into the mirror of your natal chart, how much understanding you can get about your life and what happens. So for me, I had a birthday in June, and then at the beginning of the lunar cycle on June 21st, my mother, my dear sweet mother, Cancer rules mother, home, family, childhood, had a health crisis where she's, been through a lot. And I want to thank everyone who's been sending love and prayers and doing healings and helping me and just being with me during this time, because it's pretty intense, I have to tell you. And it's really interesting too, because I had an astrology reading by a colleague who I'm very fond of. Name is Robert Phoenix. You might know of him. He's an amazing astrologer. But he shared with me a particular transit in my chart to be mindful of. Now, he didn't outright say exactly what it was, but he was kind of hinting around at it without kind of targeting it, because it would have been too scary for me to hear about that in April. But I look back at that reading and I'm just so thankful that he was redirecting my attention to saying, this is a really powerful time in your life, and to, you know, be mindful, prepare, and be open to what life is bringing to your doorstep, kind of thing. And so I really see how it's playing out. And the transit I'm talking about that's happening for me, and it usually happens to us in our early 50s, is Neptune opposes, was it for me? It was Neptune opposing Pluto. So transiting Neptune, meaning where's Neptune today? And it opposes your Pluto sign. And it's usually early 50s where this happens. So, you know, that's, for me, I have Pluto in my 4th house. That's my roots, my family tree, all of that. And then I have Neptune going directly opposite into my adult life, my public self. So I have this child down in the 4th house, and then my adult Shannon out here in my public self house. So all of that was lining up in a perfect opposition. And Neptune is about soul. Pluto is about transformation of soul. And it kind of unwinds this mortal coil, is how he put it. And so, so this was, you know, a big, where it was happening for me in my chart. It doesn't happen for everybody in this way, but the way my chart lined up with this time was an indication of a transformation of that dynamic of mother-child in my life. So when this all went down at the Cancer new moon, mother, right? Mother energy, I knew it was exactly that alignment, right? Because it hit that exact opposition the day that she got sick. So I have this background support of understanding what this is about on many, many levels. And then I have a huge community, you, helping me understand and be with this life experience that has happened to many of us already, or that will happen to us at some point in our life. Right, Pluto in the 4th for you too. Yeah, so Janice, you're 1 year older than me, so it might have happened, it could have happened at the time that you made the choice to move home. We'll have to look at that more closely. So you want to just look at the degrees and look at your ephemeris and go back to when was Neptune exactly that degree, but in opposite signs. So yeah, we have that definitely in common. You know, we're both Gemini risings. Yeah, so lots happening in this space. So I have to it's teaching me to be present in the moment now, and to take each day, each moment, each conversation, each, you know, opportunity to be of service, you know, because I have a Pluto in Virgo, be of service to my mom in the most loving and cherished ways, no matter what it is, whether it's cooking her a meal or opening the window for her in her room because she can't do it on her own. So just as a little update, she is in the hospital. She had major surgery yesterday. She's doing pretty well. And I think that's in response to so many people sending love. Like Kelly had said, that the operating room was lit up with angels and love and protection and help and support. So I really see this playing out as such a high frequency, not only for me, but for my mom and for all of us that decide to say yes and join together in that frequency of love and unconditional love. So I feel so grateful. I feel so blessed and supported. And I just wanted to say thank you. Okay, so that's what I'm reflecting on. So if you want to go back into your life, June 20th, July 20th, what's been happening, find it in your chart. It's like your Cancer ruled house. But this week, what we do is we bring that big expansive picture and we narrow it down. We're gonna narrow it down. I like to say, I've got my microscope slide and I start tuning it in. So we're gonna narrow it down to what am I letting go of this week? Now, Taurus says, it's me, come over here. What's Taurus all about? And Taurus is about the earth. It's about grounding. It's about rooting deep into the core of Mother Earth. It's about gratitude. It's about self-worth and deservingness. It's about having and receiving, right? So, and attracting to you. and your connection to the earth. It's a sacred time. I know, like for Janice, who's a North Node in Taurus, so she's this beautiful earth spirit, healer, medicine woman that comes in and says, what's your connection to Mother Earth? Oh, you don't have one? Well, let me help you connect and really understand the relationship of humanity to the earth and earth to humanity, nature, the animals, plants, the trees. Right, Janice, big mother stuff. Your mom had a stroke on July. What? Janice, oh my God, I did not know that. And I'm so sorry, and I hope she's doing well. This is really interesting. So my mom had a stroke as well. And I have heard from so many different people who have had, whose elderly parents have had strokes. So we'll have to talk, Kelly, about there's something with the sun. I feel like there's something with the sun. Either there's I know that there's waves of higher consciousness coming onto the planet. And so our frequency has to rise to meet and merge and match that. And so, yeah, we should we should talk for sure. I would love that. I'm working on your solar return chart too this week. So there's this wave of intense energy on the planet, and some of our elderly people or people who are from a different generation, a different, their frequency is set at a different level. And it is creating these types of episodes happening either in the heart or the brain and the blood. Yeah, so we want to pray and give extra TLC to our loved ones who have to assimilate these really powerful frequencies and energetics coming onto the planet. Help them ground, right? Help them have, open up and be kind of more consciously aware, speaking and thinking and feeling into their spiritual paths. Because the spiritual energy that's coming in that wants to upgrade our earth bodies. And so we, depending on the generation that we're from, or our loved ones or parents are from, there's mindsets attached to what they can bring in and experience. And so the best thing we can do, and it's really interesting because when you read the blog post this week, we're in the gateway of assimilation in the human design way of looking at our charts. And so assimilation, what is that? It's about, when I look at the body, and especially through my sound healing practice, the small intestine meridian is about assimilation. It's taking all of the vitamins from our food and extracting it to assimilate it into the bloodstream that delivers it to the muscles and the tissues and the bone to fortify and nurture. And so what are we extracting? What can we assimilate? We're in the North Node is in Gemini, so we have to be able to be adaptable and changeable. And so I think that it can be a little difficult for our elderly population because as we get older, we get a little set in our ways, or we get, not as flexible because we're not moving as much. And so we want to move our bodies, stretch and dance and do gentle movement to be flexible and adaptable. Not only in our bodies we want to feel that, but then we want to move into our emotional body. Can we be adaptable and flexible with our feelings? Can we express what we feel in the now to move energy through our body? Can we be open to what it is that we're feeling? And then we move into our mental body and we say, can we adapt and change our way of thinking and perceiving the world and be open to different train of thought, a different line of reasoning, right? Can we open our minds? And then we're into that spiritual body, which is evolving and everlasting. So you kind of see what the energetic frequency is for you this week. It's about assimilation and letting, even though it's fixed in Taurus, it wants to root, but it wants to root into these, what works for you? What is nurturing to you? What's your relationship to the earth? Are you out there acknowledging the sun, saying hi to the wind, the clouds, the rain, the water? the grass, the animals, the birds, the trees, right? You want to bring that in as if they're your neighbors, because they are, or your family, because they are. Okay, Jenny, my dad is in a major transformation healing too. Blood and bone cancer, multiple myeloma. Oh my goodness, he had a stroke last summer. Oh my God, right? Isn't that crazy that there is something happening in our elderly parents? And interesting enough, I believe probably depending on their age, my parents are from the Pluto and Cancer generation. We had this Cancer lunar cycle that, you know, hit my mom like a wave. I'm not sure, Janice, if your mom's Pluto and Leo, or she might be Pluto and Cancer. She might be Pluto and Leo. So we want to look at those frequencies to help our parents make sure they have what they need. Are they hydrating? Are they grounded? And if they don't know what that means, or, you know, where you're like, what are you talking about? Just get them outside, get them in nature, get them, you know, feet on the ground, spend some time outside, you know, watching the squirrels climb the trees, or feeling the breeze, or going to like a place that has a lot of earth beauty for them. So, and, you know, watch the Discovery Channel with the earth energy. Like, help them connect to the earth as best you can. That will help them be grounded, to allow these big waves of upgrades to go through their bodies without them having to respond in a way that is detrimental to their health. All right. Mom is 80. She'll be 81 in October. Okay, your mom's like almost the same age as my mom. Oh, she's October too. My mom is October 3rd, and she'll be 83. Her natal moon is Cancer. Oh, Lord and mercy. Okay. So here your mom, natal moon in Cancer, has this moon, July 20th, new moon in Cancer at 28 degrees, coming right into her space. And so how her body responded was to have the stroke. So I'm hoping she's okay. Okay, Jenny's dad is younger, 65, different generation, most likely the last part of Pluto and Leo. So this next lunar cycle for him will be interesting, because it's coming in with a lot of Leo energy in trine to Mars and Aries. And what's interesting about Mars and Aries, Aries is the head, rules the blood. And sometimes when we have major strokes, it's a blood clot in the brain. So again, take care of our blood, right? Purify it, you know, if we have plaque in our arteries and it doesn't allow, you know, circulation through the blood, so we want good circulation, less, you know, things that build plaque like cholesterol in our arteries. So we want to, you know, low cholesterol diets, or you know, good cholesterol like coconut oil and things like that, and then getting lowering like fried foods and too much salt and sugar out of our diet, so that we can assist our bodies to be healthy and strong to assimilate these big frequencies. I want to thank everyone who's sharing about their parents, so that we can learn more about what's happening and how it kind of plays out, and we can see, okay, that's attributed to this type of frequency that's happening in our neighborhood, in our earth, in our solar system. And then what do? These are ways that we can help our physical body be able to ride these big waves. All right, and we do them together, because you know, family is really important at this time. So you know, I'm really proud of all of us who are connecting with our families, whether we live together or we talk to each other on the phone, but we're part of each other's lives. I think that that's a really good building a lot of good karmic points and helping us out and showing up to be of service, especially if you're from the Pluto and Virgo generation. Now, some of you I know here are from the Pluto and Libra, moving towards Pluto and Scorpio. So Libra is about balance in our lives and about relationships. And so that becomes the focus for that generation. Whereas the focus in my generation, I think we're Generation X or something like that. I think Pluto and Libra is Generation Y, I think. But Generation X is about being of service, self-help, things like that. All right. So I want to share my screen real quick as we move forward, and then I'll come back to this part. But I wanted to kind of show you my process around how do I get this information. So just want to show you, and this is something you could do too, but this is also something we learn in the inner circle. So every week I cast a chart. And so here we are, August 11th at 9:45 this morning. I'm in Alameda, so I base it there. And it creates a chart, an event chart, and I call it third quarter Taurus Moon. And so I look at this chart and I read it. And then I base my understanding and the information that I bring to you off of this chart's insights. And so here's the moon, 19 degrees Taurus, and here's the sun, 19 degrees Leo. So this is the frequency that makes the energetic, the 90-degree square between the sun and the moon. As the moon starts to head back to Cancer, where it finishes the lunar cycle next week on August 17th. And then it moves to Leo to create a new cycle, August 18th. And so I looked, well, who's hanging out with the moon? We have Uranus, electrical. Our electrical body rules our ankles and our electrical system. Our energy body, our aura is hanging out with the moon. So I say these two are in a conjunction. And so Uranus influences the moon's frequency. So we want to clear our auras. We want to ground and bring that energy into the earth, Taurus. And then I look over here to say, well, who's with the Leo sun? And we have Mercury. And Mercury comes to talk about, I'm in Leo, which is heart chakra, but I deal with mind and communication, lower mind. And so then we bring in the influence of Mercury into this Leo experience of the sun. And then I look to see, well, who else, are there any energetics here that are affecting the moon and the sun? Now, Leo rules the sun, but Venus rules Taurus. And so then I go, well, where's Venus? Here she is, 3 degrees Cancer, very nurturing. So this thing says, well, this is an influence of how do we nurture ourselves through this lunar cycle. Cancer is about family and mother and the internal feminine energy. So that begins another direction about how do we, what do we do to take care of ourselves this week? All right, so then I take that information and I go over here. And I write a blog post. This is my process. I write a blog post, and so here you could go to this week on lunarladies.com, and this will come up. And because of where the lunar mansion and the human design gateway, and I know Taurus is about grounding, but the gateway is about assimilation, and then we want to keep repeating that. So as the sun goes down, which is representative of the third quarter lunar week of, completing the day, completing the cycle, and she's grounded on the earth, and she's looking to the west, and she's reflecting. So even this image right here has a lot of frequencies that you can tune into. And I would replicate this. Let's use some sunset magic and go outside, sit on the earth, and watch the sunset. That would be great third quarter Taurus lunar action to do. And so when you come in here, you're going to learn more about the chart that I casted to read. And Uranus shows, and Mercury, they're showing up with the sun and the moon. And we talk to them about, what are their messages. Of course, Mars in Aries is the talk of the town for the next 6 months. And he's with Leo at 22 degrees Aries, which we felt this weekend. And you can learn more about that there. And then this was a really interesting part of the chart. As I'm looking at the chart over here, sometimes I'm clairaudient, so I hear things. I hear like somebody talking, whether it's my higher self or a guide or someone, but they start to whisper certain words. And so when I was looking at Pluto, what happened was I heard the word threshing. And I'm like, wait, threshing, I know, I've heard that before. That's like, so I just typed into Google, threshing definition. And what did I get? I get this is the step in grain preparation after reaping. So reap what you sow. The threshing is, okay, now we've sown our seeds. Now we're going to reap what we've sown, what's grown, right? And now we're going to thresh it by separating the wheat from the chaff. And so it's separating the impurities from our divine self. And when I wrote this last line, I've thought of Shaman KK, because this is where I learned of this term, homo luminous. And you can connect with Kelly about what does that mean, homo luminous. And so what she's taught me so far is that's where our species, Homo sapiens, humanity, is evolving towards. Leaving behind Homo sapien and becoming Homo luminous, meaning we are becoming, returning to our original state as light beings, spirit embodied in form, Homo luminous, right? And so here we have this separation of the impurities, the densities, and we get back into, like, you know, the wheat from the chaff, the food source, and, you know, so we want to sow good seeds, so we reap good things, and we separate out impurities to become that pure divine nature, which is homo luminous, or light. So isn't that cool? I got really excited about that. And I didn't make that one up. I heard that. Okay, so as you move into this week's blog post, you learn more about the energetics of the third quarter moon. The nature of the third quarter Taurus moon is called the Merchant's Moon. And we learn more about our connection to money and purifying that space. The moon, the Taurus moon, is in the 4th lunar mansion called the Stone. And so we learn more about what that is all about, the stone. And then the human design gateway is 23, assimilation. And we learn how can we assimilate our experiences, and what are they coming to us to learn? Remember, life is teacher. And then we move into the Sabian symbol for the Taurus moon at 19 degrees. And it's wisps of clouds like wings streaming across the sky. And so I really liked this image because it gets us outside on the ground, communicating with the clouds. And because Uranus is with Taurus moon this week, Uranus is the sky god. Let's look up to the sky, right? And get messages from the cloud beings. And the sun, the Leo sun, is American Indians perform a ritual to the sun. It's the sun dance. And what does that mean, right? If we are so blessed to know First People, Indigenous people, maybe they would teach us about what that means to them. But it's about honoring the sun, the nature, your connection to the earth, giving thanks and praises, and respecting. And so Taurus moon wants us also to tune into how we honor the earth and respect the earth, all right? And then I wind up with what happens next. Leo new moon happening August 18th. Come and join us in the inner circle to help you understand your chart and how you can put things into action. And then here's a simple overview of the previous 3 blog posts to help you understand your experience with the Cancerian lunar cycle. Isn't that cool? All right. Hey, hi Tamara. Welcome. She's my friend from Chatlandia. So happy you're here. You joined us in the Lunar Ladies. I really appreciate you coming over. So sweet. Thanks for being here. All right. Hi Heather. Welcome. So happy to have you here too. Yay. All right, so that's kind of cool. So that's my process that I do every week. Is I like to follow the moon because of how quickly it moves through our natal charts. And of course, the moon represents our core root self. And as women, or the feminine, we have to get deep inside to that space because we feel first and we think second. And as men, the external point of that is they think first logic and then move into feelings. And so we meet each other as we move in and out of our internal world and our external world, and we do that divine dance. And so with the moon, it's a great teacher because the moon helps you understand what you're feeling. And a lot of times, like for me, depending on where your moon is in your natal chart, what sign it's in, phase it was when you were born and the house that it sits in your chart, it helps you understand your core root self of how before speech happened as that newborn baby, how you came into the world and how you feel and understand utilizing all your senses, how you relate to this world of form, the physical world as a spiritual being, right? Homo luminous, being of light. All right, Janice has been looking up in the sky. That's right, we got the Perseid meteor showers happening now. Thank you, Janice. Janice lives in a lovely place, doesn't have a lot of light pollution. So she can see those stars and those meteors. All right, Heather's like, yeah, the meteors are gonna be amazing, 12 to 6 tonight. Oh, and yes, and Heather, please post your link to your Angelic Angels Facebook group too, for those of you who would like to tune into the angels. Heather is amazing. She has amazing calling, a soul calling in her chart to work with you and the angels on the other side. Kelly says, we've been sitting here, some with my feet in the earth. Oh, I love it, Kelly. Leading the way, leading the way. All right, so yeah, lunar cycles are really powerful because they happen so quickly. And they're a great way that you can start tuning in and feeling your way through this, the physical world. And it's very interesting as we move into the new moon next week, the Leo new moon. It's, of course, Leo rules the heart chakra in the body. And the heart chakra is a bridge between the lower body and the upper body, right? So it's like heaven in the upper bodies, earth in the lower bodies, and the heart chakra is the bridge between both worlds. It's like the Merkaba, your spiritual vehicle. And I was talking with Kelly Michelle of the Happy Aura, who's also an Inner Circle member, and she was really getting the downloads that, you know, moving forward, 2020 is our pivot year, because in 2017, with that great solar eclipse in that went across the heartland of America, started in Portland, ended in Fort Sumter, South Carolina, it's a 7-year cycle that got initiated. So 2020 is the midpoint year where we make the pivot. And so Kelly Michelle was tuning into, wow, this is our moment to choose to live through the heart and be a heart-centered being moving forward, or go into being devoid of that heart awareness and knowledge and just be, you know, a talking head, right? Logic, disconnected from the embodied experience in the physical world, which is the higher mind and the heart chakra, bringing the feelings and mind together. And so what's really interesting, as we'll get into next week with the new moon in Leo, here we have a lunar cycle that's starting a 6-month window to when the moon is full in Leo. I think January next year. So we have a 6-month window of practicing a heart-centered way of life and a way of being. All right, so it's going to be a really big time to set your intentions to create yourself as a self-expressed being of love and light, living through the heart chakra, embody through that, making decisions from that. Remember, the toroidal field of the heart chakra is much bigger than the electromagnetic field of the mind. And so we want to begin remembering that that's what we are. We are heart-centered beings, divine beings of love and light. It sounds really cliche, but it's true. Right? Oh, Heather's got her birthday coming up next January. Oh, you'll have that full moon in Leo energy once the sun moves into Aquarius. Right? So let's start moving in and reflecting, because this Taurus third quarter moon is very powerful because the sun has already moved into Leo, right? And so we're kind of getting this late start to the Leo lunar cycle. And so what we want to feel into ourselves as a love-based being. And as we look out into the external world and we see, well, what needs to change for our world to kind of get it together, right? Because 2020, everything is, you know, in demolition mode. And we want to understand, what does it take to build a community that works? Now, Tamara and I, we get to have fun hanging out with Robert Phoenix in Chatlandia. in the 11th house astrology, and he's got a great community there. Like, I love the people of Chatlandia. They're so awesome. They're smart, they're funny, they're with it, they're game to play, they come and they're supportive, they're really awesome, super amazing. I love hanging out over there. And so in that space, you know, they're living the way, right? Community. And what's community? Aquarius energy in the astrology. And what's the opposite of Aquarius? Leo. So Leo is that heart centered way of being. It's our self-expression, our creativity. It's how we learn about ourselves and what makes us laugh and smile and feel joy and our happiness and our bliss. And then we take all that energy and we live it. And then what happens is it becomes a radio signal that starts to call forth the soul tribe that likes who you are and how you show up in the world and your creative self-expression. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm like looking in the mirror. This is my good friend now. We're like soul family. And then we get more and more and more people together, and that creates the community. Now we can extend this out into the possibility for a collective humanity to become the people. I have to share it. It's very interesting. There's a page on Facebook I really like, Omkara Traditions. I believe it's from Australia. I'm not quite sure, but they post the most coolest stuff. And today they posted a Navajo prophecy around how there's going to come a time after the white buffaloes are born, right? We already know that's been happening since like the 90s, I think. But there's going to come a generation of people who are actually going to be the embodiment of the ancestors of the red road, right? And they're going to come in all shapes, colors, and sizes. So they're going to be these red road ancestors taking form in all these different ways to bring us back to the old ways, to the teachings of the elders, and to help us unite to a heart-centered way of living. And in the prophecy, it's called that humanity will now be referred to as the people. The people. So not in a way that we identify with all these ways that we separate from one another, whether it's color of our skin, gender, class, economics, religious backgrounds. What if we all just got it together and we became the people and we live to love, right? And love to live. And we share and we care and we create a community that works because we're all individualizing our creative self-expression and we're in alignment with our true selves and our authenticity. And that's a joyful place to be. And so as joyful people get together, then we create more joy, right? And I call it dolphin mentality. It's the pod energy. We'll all start to, the more the merrier. It's lots of fun. So that's the vision I'm holding moving forward. And we can do that by 2024, right? Because we got all these other agendas swirling around us and, hidden behind the scenes and lurking in the shadows. But none of that has any weight when we are connected to our organic wholeness, our divine right to be sovereign and free, and our deservingness to be happy and to have what our hearts desire. And how we get there is we start moving deeper and deeper and deeper into that heart chakra space. It's the bridge between the upper and lower worlds. And we take form as divine beings of light, homo luminous, in physical form, which all that light's going to change our carbon-based identity and make it more silica and crystalline. And, I'm just warning you, you might start, dazzling and being a little sparklier and a little bit like, shing light, a little bit more music in your steps. Just, that's the effect of when you start allowing yourself to open up to that space of divine love and divine light, right? Isn't that great? Isn't that fun? Well, that's what I got for you for Let's Talk Tuesday. So happy to have you all gathered together. I'm going to download this recording, upload it on YouTube so you can share this. And you definitely jump into the club.lunarladies.com. That's our free off Facebook community, just like our old Facebook community, but now we're not being distracted by things that, there's a lot happening over on Facebook. And sometimes the frequency gets a little low. That's why I said, let's, pack up our stuff, go over here to this mighty network where it's free and you can do it as an app on your phone, or you can just do it through the website, club.lunarladies.com. It's free. Let's hang out there, ask cool questions, do cool topics, meet like this, have fun, take our charts out, get to know ourselves, get to know each other, and then find those that you have a heart connection with, right? Who are part of your soul tribe. Then miracles can happen. And then if you want a more enriched and in-depth experience of that, that's when you join the Inner Circle. It's a paid subscriber, monthly paid group, 2-week free trial. Take a test drive, see how you like it, and then you can cancel it anytime. All right, I'll be back next Tuesday, and we'll be talking about the new moon in Leo. But this week, have a blessed and unwinding time. You're letting things go. You're completing things, reflecting on the last, since July 20th and June 20th, freeing and letting go of the Cancerian lunar cycles, and doing what you need to do in that space, and being open to learning and reflecting upon what life would like to teach you more about. And then you're going to move all that into the void at the balsamic moon in Cancer, which will be probably on the 15th, maybe 15th starting of August, right? And then we move into the void to be rebirth with the new moon in Leo. All right, thanks so much for joining. I love you all. Thanks for the love and support for me and my mom. And I'll keep you updated as she improves and gets better, and hopefully you'll be home soon. And I just want to thank you again for the love and support. And thank you again for joining us over at club.lunarladies.com. It's so nice to get all these new fresh faces to say hello. If you haven't made it over there yet, do that this week. So you can start a new moon in Leo cycle, new 6-month journey of heart-centered living, making the world, making your life a better place to live, right? Your life a better experience as well, and then you contribute to the greater good that makes the world a better place to be. All right, see you later. Bye.